Hey there, folks. Welcome to an additional part 2 of episode 10 here at Adventures in Old Code. Oh, look, I have updates available. I got so excited with Stock Simulator 1.4 and I got caught up with the message and the graphics that there was actually new features that I didn't bother going through the code because I didn't recognize them because they were tucked away in some subroutines. So I am going to right that wrong right now, and we are going to look at those new features. Let's first remember what those new features are. I'm not sure why DOSBox doesn't play nicely sometimes there. Now we've been through the graphics. That was all last time. So the first new feature is actually accepting multiple values as input, like that. The second feature is actually highlighting the stocks that we've chosen. And I seem to be doing really good. And the third feature is this wonderful layout, a printout of your gains and losses. All new stuff, and all things that we didn't see at all last time in code. So this won't be as exciting, perhaps, because we won't be looking at a new program or reading any funny messages. But I really had to do this because this is all about adventures in old code. Let's look at some old code. Okay, first thing is accepting multiple values as your input. Now that is going to be stock pick. We've seen this before, but now remember we have a few new variables. We have 3 stock variables: stock, stock 2, and stock 3. Those were, I can't remember, were those singles? Oh, okay, they weren't anything. We have stock AM and stock AM2 and stock AM3. Those are the probably the amount that we will invest, but let's have a gander. So stock 2, and stock 3 are not global variables, which means they will exist only for this subroutine. Once we exit out of this subroutine, they will no longer be available. Stock A, B, and C are global variables, and so they will be available outside of this subroutine. This is why it's best to declare your variables up top and use parameters, but clearly I didn't know how to use them, and I think I eventually learned on my own years later. So when we get to the really big programs later on, I will be accepting parameters. Anyway, doesn't matter. Stock 2, and stock 3 are local variables, so they will disappear once we exit out of this subroutine. A, B, and C are strings. They're okay, and they are available outside of the subroutine. So we're setting them all to 0, to empty strings, clearing the screen. You can now choose one of the following 6 stocks, like normal. And then like in previous versions, we have this flag H. If it's 1, then we're going to print the value that the stock is currently at. This is used for when you have sold stock and you are buying into new stock. But the first time through first time seeing this message, H is 0, and so it doesn't show the positions. Okay, here's the new stuff. Wow. For those of you who know what arrays are, this just screams arrays and you're crying on the inside. For those of you who don't know what arrays are, we will get to them soon. There was a very big division in my programs, and those before I knew what arrays were and those after what I knew after I knew what arrays were. But okay, so anyway, let's go through this. So this is the input. Which stocks would you like? Max of 3, 0 for none. Okay, and so it is very simple to accept a comma delimited list of values, to put them into separate variables. All you do is tack on those variables at the end of your input statement. So that is nice and easy. The first number will go into stock, the second number will go into stock 2, and the third number will go into stock 3. Now, what I do with them is, okay. If stock equals 1, then stock A string equals Duff beer. So stock A, B, and C are the names of the 3 stocks I've chosen. So I have to go through and check each one. If the first one I chose was 1, then set that name to Duff beer. If the first one I chose was 2, then set that name to cigarettes. If the first one was 3, then set it to crack, and so on, and then do all the stock 2s. So this could have been way more efficient. This would be dead simple with arrays, but you use what you know. And I wasn't going to get hung up on trying to make things efficient or pretty, because I wanted to make Stock Simulator and just run it. And to be honest, I wanted to get to the next version so I could work on the message and the graphics. But this is, certainly a way to do it. Okay, so after all these if statements, we're guaranteed that stock A, stock B, and stock C variables contain the names of the 3 stocks that you've chosen. Now, if stock is not equal to 0, I see. So that's why we were allowed 0 for none. So if we wanted to only do 1 stock, we could probably watch this I form again. Boy, that's slow. Okay, we'll continue. So that's what the 0 means. If I just wanted dance techno music, then I can go 0, 0. It would only ask me for dance techno music, and there we go. Okay, well that's fairly straightforward. Oh, I lost. Oh, now I'm in debt. Thanks, dance techno music. Okay, so if stock was not equal to 0, so if the first stock I chose wasn't 0, then print how much money I have, how much of stock A, which is the name. Ooh. So the how much of and then do you want are 2 separate statements. Okay. All right, well that's fine. In QBasic, if there's a colon, it means this could have been broken up into 2 lines. But you can add the colon and put it on 1 line if it makes sense, which it kind of makes sense. So the print statement and the input, how much do you want, and throw that into stock amount, which we've seen. Loop until we have enough money. Loop until we have at least that much. We've invested, I can't even talk. Keep asking until you actually have the money that you told the program you were going to invest. And we do the same thing for stock 2 and stock 3. So that's perfect. Here we're looping until the stock amount 2 is less than or equal to money minus stock amount, because we've already invested money into stock amount, so we have to make sure that we have enough money left over subtracting the amount that we've invested in the first stock, and then similarly, for the third one, we have to subtract stock amount and stock amount 2 from money. And then at the very end, then we're subtracting everything. I could have just subtracted them one at a time before each if statement, but that's all right. Okay, so that's how we accepted the 3 different stock inputs. Now the next thing is the coloration of the stock. The stocks, we turn them to color 14, which is yellow. Where is that? I believe we did that in the subroutine called time dot. Wait a second. I thought stock 1, stock 2, and stock 3 were not global variables. Oh, my bad. Look at, there they are. So they do hang around after that stock pick subroutine. Totally missed that. Okay, that's fine. Time. See, that's the problem when you use a subroutine that has a very poor name. Why would the subroutine called time be used for displaying the stocks? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, if stock equals 1, or stock 2 equals 1, or stock 3 equals 1, i.e. you've chosen stock 1 as one of your options, then color 14. If it's 100, print par, else print the value. Change it to color 15. So color 14 is yellow, color 15 is bright white. Default color, I believe, is 7. It's sort of a less brilliant white. So if it's a stock we've chosen, then use color 14. Similarly, color 14. Similarly, color 14. Okay. So that is certainly a way to do it. Check each stock and see if it's one of the 3 that you've used, that you've chosen. If so, change the color. Okay, and we've seen this before. This is from of old. So that's the second feature. Okay, we're nearly finished. The next feature is that nice printout. Where do we get that nice printout from? Winner? No, probably amount. Amount dot. Here we go. Ugh, well, the printout was nice. This code looks awful. All right, so you have invested that much money. Okay, stock A was the name of the stock. Okay, this is a print using statement. Where's my cursor here? So this amount is going to be plugged into this format, and then I'm going to print the stock that the name of the stock that you've chosen. Okay, and the same thing, but first I have to check if they're not equal to 0, because remember, if they are 0, it means I didn't choose any stocks. So I have to check for not equal to 0. So these will all be mirror images. Okay. Prints the empty line. Okay. So clearly I'm making 3 numbers here. number 2 and number 3, and this looks like the position of the stock divided by 100. And I have to get the right position value. So stock is 1, then use position 1, stock is 2, then use position 2. Cycle through them all, and then do all the second stock that you chose, and then the third stock that you chose. Okay. Amount is the stock amount times the number. This is basically the stock ticker formula for how much money you make when when a dividends is rolled, but Stock Simulator has no dividends. It's just going to pay you out when you choose to sell. Amount 2 is stock amount 2 times number 2. Stock amount 3 times number 3. If stock, so if the first one you chose was not 0, then from stock A, which is the name of the first stock, you now have this much money. From stock B, you now have this much money. And from stock C, you now have this much money. Okay, losses and gains. Wow. Oh my. Okay. Okay, if amount is greater than stock amount and stock is not equal to 0, then, so if I ended up with more than I put in, and I didn't choose 0, then print I gained amount minus stock amount. Okay, that's, straightforward enough. If amount is less than stock amount and stock is not equal to 0, then print using same thing, except this time you lost. And I use the absolute value, so I can say you lost $50 instead of you lost negative $50. Okay, that's good. If it's the same, it's equal to what you've invested, then gain / lost nothing. Okay, that's what it'll print. And do the same thing for all 3 stocks. Money equals money plus the amount you made plus the amount you made for stock 2 and the amount you made for stock 3. Sell or quit. Get the input and uppercase it. And I think that's it. That concludes the 3 new features on Stock Simulator 1.4, the gameplay anyway. All hidden away in subroutines that are poorly named. Okay, well that's it. Thanks for watching. This has been Adventures in Old Code episode 9B. Yeah, we'll call it 9B. Or 9 part 2. Let's do 9 part 2. All right, have a nice day. We'll see you next time for more Adventures in Old Code.